Hey guys, it's Cannan, and this is a video that I really wish I didn't have to make. It's been almost 24 hours since we found out that Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Dr. Slump, and also the one who designed characters and monsters in the Dragon Quest series. He did the character designs in Chrono Trigger and many others. Has passed away. That's very hard for me to say because if it wasn't for Dragon Ball, if it wasn't for Akira Toriyama, this channel wouldn't exist. I wouldn't be in the fandoms that I'm currently in. I know we don't do a lot of Dragon Ball videos, but the name of this channel is the Geeky Saiyan Couple, and Dragon Ball is a big part of my life, just as much as Ruby is. And this news is devastating. I'm gonna read real quick the official statement. It's dated March 8th. I think it was March 8th in Japan when this was released. It was March 7th when I first saw it, but it was around this time at night. Dear friends and partners, we are deeply saddened to inform you that manga creator Akira Toriyama passed away on March 1st due to acute cerebral hematoma. From my understanding, that's pretty much like a blood clot in the brain. He was in age of 68. It is our deep regret that he still had several works in the middle of creation with great enthusiasm. Also, he would have many things to achieve. However, he has left many manga titles and works of art to this world. Thanks to the support of so many people around the world, he has been able to continue his creative activities for over 45 years. We hope that Akira Toriyama's unique world of creation continues to be loved by everyone for a long time to come. We inform you this sad news with gratefulness for your kindness during his lifetime. Funeral service was held with his family and very few relatives. Following his wishes for tranquility, we respectfully inform you that we would not accept flowers, condolences, gifts, visiting, offerings, and others. Also, we ask you to refrain from conducting interviews with his family. Future plans for commemorate gathering is not decided. We will let you know when it's confirmed. We deeply thank you for understanding and support as always. March 8th, 2024. Bird Studio, Capsule Corporation, Tokyo. So yes, he actually passed away the 1st of this month. He was a very private person, so I'm sure, to respect his wishes, they had the funeral, didn't, and waited till literally almost a week, it seems like, to announce his passing. That's why you never really saw him give any in-person interviews or anything like that. If he ever said anything, it was like through memos or emails that he sent to others about what he was working on. I believe he only visited America maybe once in his entire life. He just loved living the way he did. And he's achieved something that all of us would hope to achieve one day. Immortality, for one. He'll never be forgotten. He'll live forever through every Dragon Ball fan, everyone that just gets into anime because of Dragon Ball. This man literally changed my life. he changed so many others around the world. He is literally a generational icon. And to know that he's gone doesn't seem real. You know, I mean, just because he didn't do it, from photos that I've seen, he apparently did some appearances when he was younger, but as he got older, he just decided to live the way he wanted to, and my light is flickering. Um, Me and Jess did a video about Dragon Ball, like at the very beginning of the channel's lifetime, back when I think we had less than 100 subscribers, and so I don't expect everyone to go and watch that video. So I'll just, story time. I first was introduced to Dragon Ball. It was 97, 98, somewhere around there. I was either in 4th or 5th grade when a friend encouraged me to watch it. And at that time, I barely watched television at that time. I had kind of started to outgrow Saturday morning cartoons and Nickelodeon and stuff like that. And I did not really play video games all that much yet. That's a big thing to remember. Like, I think at that time I still had an NES, but I wasn't good at any of the games on it. I'm still to this day not good at NES games. So I didn't really play it. So I said sure. And so I went home after school that day, turned on Cartoon Network to watch Toonami for the very first time. Classic Toonami. And as luck would have it, the episode that they aired that day was episode 1. And at that time, it was still the Ocean dub, back when the dubbing was done in Canada. And it was episode 1, The Arrival of Raditz. And that's where it began. Like, it was the first show that I watched that made me want to tune in the next day and see what happened. And of course, I watched it all the way to when Goku arrived on Namek, elbowed Raccoon into the gut, Vegeta talking about something called a Super Saiyan, and very next day it was back to Raditz. At that time, I did not understand the concept of anime licensing and stuff like that. But eventually, finally, Funimation at that time was pretty much an unknown company, had gotten the licensing to dub Dragon Ball Z. Because flying people to Canada and having them do the voice talent for the Ocean dub was just way too much money at the time. And so Funimation just did their dubbing in-house. And, I'll never forget learning that, people like Sean Schimmel, who to this day is, everyone says he's English Goku, pretty much. And he's the Goku that many of us have grown up with, in America at least. That they answered ads at a college, and and it's wild to think that now Funimation got bought by Crunchyroll, but Funimation became such a big company with so many anime and so many different dubs that they did. That at one point all they really owned was Dragon Ball Z. And then finally, we got to see Goku fight Burter and Jace. We finally got to see Goku fight Captain Ginyu. We finally got to see Goku versus Frieza. And the one moment that really, truly changed my life was Goku turning into a Super Saiyan for the first time. There was just something about that moment. Hype, epicness, I don't know what to really say, but by this time I had started watching more anime, mostly just what was on Toonami, I believe at that time. There was Sailor Moon. There was Gundam Wing. There was Tenchi Muyo. So, I got introduced, Outlaw Star, stuff like that. I got introduced to different anime. And then, of course, when they started playing Toonami late at night, this was before Adult Swim. I can't remember if they named it a special name when it was the late night show, but they would play, uncut stuff and different kinds. Like, that's where you would watch, like, Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin, and then sometimes they would play, like, lesser known stuff. But besides a few, like, I finished a Gundam Wing on Toonami. And it's funny, I can rewatch Gundam Wing now and know exactly what they're talking about. Back then, when I was, like, in middle school, Gundam Wing and Gundam in general is such a political-driven anime. I had no idea what was going on for most of that anime. I just liked watching the big robots fight. Or mech suits, mechs. But besides those, Dragon Ball Z was the only one that I stayed with till the end. Finally we got the Cell arc, then we finally got to Boo, and then during that time they got rights to original Dragon Ball, which at that time I had never got to see. And so finally I got to see the series that started it all. And then of course, when they reached the end of Z, they did GT. Now, of course, Funimation kind of fumbled the ball with GT a little bit, with cutting out a lot of the episodes originally, but we finally got those first episodes eventually. And then after that was nothing. It was, we had video games. A special would come out every now and then. And then the dumpster fire that was Dragon Ball Evolution came out. And then because of that, eventually we got Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. And I went and saw that movie in theaters. This was before Jess had moved, and no one was available to go with me and see it, so I went and saw Battle of Gods by myself. I think it and Resurrection F are the only two movies I have went and saw all by myself. I'm usually not a type person that goes to the movies and watches a movie by myself. But I was not going to miss this. And I'll never forget in Battle of Gods, when Goku goes Super Saiyan God for the first time, the music they played for that transformation, it literally gave me goosebumps. And then, of course, I went and saw Resurrection F in theaters, and by that time, Dragon Ball Super had been announced. Now, unlike a lot of people, I was happy with Super. I enjoyed it. I really wished we knew more about if there was ever going to be a continuation. With this news, I don't know. The manga is still ongoing. It's been talked about for years that Toritaru was going to be the one. Sorry if I mispronounced it. It's been a while since I've had to say his name. That he was pretty much being prepped as the successor to Toriyama, so maybe he will continue it. But I enjoyed Super, and I really hope the Moro arc, the Granola arc, and everything that's going on will eventually get animated. But then one of my best experiences was going to see Dragon Ball Super Broly in theaters. Me, Jess, and some friends from her work went and saw it together. And Dragon Ball Super Broly was amazing in theaters. It was one of the best experiences of my life. That whole entire theater was into that movie. And what made it even better was when me and Jess first got together and she first moved here, she knew of Dragon Ball. She had watched a little bit of it, but her main anime was always Sailor Moon. And so, of course, I had her watch the entire series. We watched Dragon Ball. We watched Dragon Ball Z. I had her watch the Kai version because preferring the original dub's music is alright, but let's admit it, it's a better dub. It's closer to the original manga. It's better paced. Sorry, but that's the one I wanted her to see. We watched GT. We watched Super as it finally started airing in America. All the movies, the Bardock Father of Goku and History of Trunks specials. And so when Broly came around, like, it just made me proud that she knew what was going on. She knew all of these characters. When Goku was transforming from God to Super Saiyan Blue and that flash of silver, she knew, that was probably a nod to Ultra Instinct, where I think someone with us had brought like their wife or their girlfriend who didn't know what was going on. I just felt so happy and proud, I guess. Now, sadly, we did not get to go see Dragon Ball Superhero in theaters. And now we've got so much coming out eventually that's going to feel different now. Dragon Ball Z Sparkling Zero, pretty much Ultimate Tenkaichi 4, the next Dragon Quest, whenever they really finally decide to announce more on that. And of course, Dragon Ball Daima. And it's sad because he was heavily involved in that, and he was looking very much forward to it. And now when that airs, it's just going to it's going to be a sad day, really, because yeah, yay, a new Dragon Ball series, but our sensei is gone. And I don't know when that's ever going to be normal when looking at a Dragon Ball product. We'll go, I hate to say it, but we'll go through the same thing when many of the older cast of the Japanese version start to pass. That will be bad. Those will be, I don't even want to think about it. But seeing the outcry, seeing people mourning, like there were people holding memorial services in Final Fantasy 14 last night when me and Jess logged on, and of course we took part in it. Dragon Ball has always been a big part of my life. I was one of those kids where when my nephews would come over, we'd go outside and shoot fake ki blasts at each other, scream at the top of our lungs, trying to go Super Saiyan. It's one thing I wish I could do. If there was a way to make wishes come true, I would ask to be turned into a Saiyan. That would always be my main wish. We lost a great man, and I hope he rests in peace. But I hope he knows how many people he touched, how many people he changed the lives of, how many generations. Because whenever me and Jess have kids, they will know what Dragon Ball is. And I'm just very thankful that I grew up in a time when the dub was coming out, like as it was releasing, and I'm glad that Super came out and I could experience it again. It'll be the same thing with Daima, and hopefully, if Super ever continues, it'll be the same thing. I don't. There's not really much else I can say on it. Um, Sorry that there's not been a whole lot of normal videos recently. Me and Jess have been going through a few things. If you follow our Twitter, you'll know about that. It's not anything between me and her. It's just we've had a rough going on. I'll try and have a live stream up. I'll try and stream some Saturday night, maybe. Depends on how I feel. Normal videos will be a little bit slow coming out the rest of this week because I'm working 7 days in a row, so I don't really have time to plan out normal sit-down videos. So expect a lot of live streams until then, just because they're a little bit easier just to sit down, do, and boom, they're up. But this really makes me want to do a new episode of What If Yang Was a Saiyan, so I might start planning that very soon. But, no, it's not a very enjoyable video, but I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button, leave a comment. If you grew up with Dragon Ball, please tell me about your memories with it. And as always, guys, this is Cannan. Me and Jess love you all very, very much. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.